This is my first coaching session ever.
All right,
Um,
wonderful.
so I'll kind of give you some background as to where I'm at. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing this game for close to 3 years now. Probably have 1,500 hours in the game.
Yep.
My biggest problem I feel like is I know all of the champions for the most part. I've played almost all of them. I have a good idea of the items and whatnot, challenge, summoner spells and all that.
Yep.
I feel like my biggest problem is I'm still hard stuck bronze, by the way, just to put that into perspective.
Okay. What role do you
Um,
play?
Mid lane,
Okay. Nice.
I'm Ahri main right
Okay.
now.
Okay. I see.
Um, so yeah, I kind of just have questions on, I guess, specific matchups of like I've watched most of the videos on the website, and I see creating a game plan is probably the most important thing. And sometimes I have an idea, but sometimes I don't know when I have, pressure level 1 and I can push the wave in, or if I'm supposed to be letting them push the wave to me. It's just simple stuff like that. And then the other thing is, even if I win most of my lanes, which I feel like I do,
Yeah.
maybe 15, 20 minutes in, that's when I can't feel like I carry. I can't win the game for my team, even if I'm, having a really good stat line. I just can't win and bring it home for the team.
Okay.
Uh,
So, what I will tell you, specifically since you're playing Ari, it is one of my better champions. Probably the champion that helped me get Challenger. Last time I went for my grind. She is quite unique in terms of how to play mid game because you have to find a lot of different angles on her. Ari as a champion does not necessarily like 1v9 fights with damage or anything like that, right? It's not like a Kassadin or a control mage or anything like that.
yeah,
She wins games by getting her team ahead. Like that's what she does. She's quite a supportive champion in that regard. And then in terms of how she plays fights, usually she will try to just kill the enemy backline, right? And then your team can run over. But she has no tools of dealing with frontline, so you usually have to get your team ahead. Otherwise that
yeah,
champion is pretty bad. So
okay,
the usual way you play it, and again this is just very, very generalized,
yeah,
you push after level 9 and you roam. Killing the enemy laner after level 9 doesn't matter anymore. At this point, your only objective would be to get your bot lane ahead or your top lane ahead, right? Like that's
yeah,
where your priorities should shift. Now, obviously, I don't know how you necessarily play, right? Because I haven't seen you play. Also, by the way, if you don't have any VODs or any replays or anything like that, you can just queue up if you want to do a live session. That's fine with me as well.
yeah. Let's
If
do
you
that.
don't have anything prepared, yeah.
Yeah, nothing that I set up prepared ahead of time. Like I have a bunch of games in VODs, of course, but I don't know which one would be a good one to go through. So let's just queue up, and then we'll kind of talk about a few different things.
Right, sure. I will try to guide you through the game, mostly in terms of what I think you should be paying attention to, and that will
Hmm.
be hopefully helpful in a manner that it will make you realize how to think during the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like what
100%.
you should be trying to pay attention to during the game.
Yeah.
So there are uh, two main ways of improving in terms of what I think, like my philosophy in terms of it.
Okay.
Well, there's one way of improving, but it requires two steps, right? So the
Yeah.
first one is you need to figure out something that you're not doing that other people that are better than you are doing, right? This is discovering a new concept or anything like this, right? Like
Hmm.
anything in terms of that. And then the second step, where usually people fall flat, so you have to actually implement that into your gameplay, right? Yeah, you can know everything, but if you can't use it in the game, then it's completely useless in terms of climbing, right?
Yeah.
That one is the hard one. I will already tell you at the start of the session that is the one that I would imagine that you need to have the highest or the most focus on. What I usually do for people, and I'm gonna do this as well in our session, I will write down notes and sentences, and I
Hmm.
would like describing concepts that you should be focusing on. And I would like you to look at those notes before you head into a game, and you just pick one of them, like one concept, and you just really try to focus on that during the game. That is the
100%.
easiest way to improve. Do you have experience with other games?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 23 now. I've been playing games forever, but really, as far as games that are set up like League, I forget the name, but tower defense games, this is really the only one. I played a little bit of Smite, but not really.
Okay.
But mostly FPS games and a million other different types of games.
How good were you at FPS games?
I played Call of Duty professionally when I was like 15. I was ranked top 300 in Search and Destroy in the world.
Nice.
Uh,
It's good. I've never
yeah,
played the game, so I don't know how many things transfer, but learning is gonna be the exact same way, right? You pick a concept, you isolate it, and then you focus on it for like a week or two, and you really try to perfect it, and then you have that fundamental down, and then you move on to the next concept. And everything will sort of just accumulate, and you'll become a stronger player, right?
yeah. So work on individual. I guess that's something that I haven't been really doing. It's trying to put all of the different concepts together and just focus on everything instead of just mastering
That's
one
yeah, that's
thing.
not gonna work because you're right. So usually you will also notice when you're trying to introduce a new concept into your gameplay, you will be playing a little bit worse because you're paying a lot of attention to that one concept, right?
Yep.
Instead of actually paying attention to like everything else, right? So if you try to
Yeah.
do that with every concept at once, you're just gonna get overwhelmed and it's not gonna work. So you usually
It's
want to isolate one concept at a time.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you say that because I watched the video on like I watched the whole series on how to trade with enemies and how they're when they're using their abilities and when they're going in for last hits on CS.
Yeah,
I realized that I'm winning almost every fight, but then my CS is lacking
yeah,
because I'm not focused on much as that. So that makes sense.
exactly. Yep. And that's the problem, right? That's why usually when people are lower MMRs like bronze or like even below gold,
Hmm.
we usually just say, well, if you can focus on farming, like that is usually your number one priority. Because if you can CS everything, and then whenever you have downtime, you can look to play aggressively and you can focus on other things, you
Yep.
will just get ahead in gold, right?
Yeah.
Like you will just be ahead in gold because other people will miss CS, for example, right? Like if you go against a player like you, right? If you miss a lot of CS and the enemy just CSs perfectly, at 10 minutes you'll probably be down like 50 CS, and that's 4 kills worth of gold.
Yeah. I get that for sure.
Yeah,
So right now I'm probably averaging between 5 and 6 CS, sometimes up to 7 CS per game.
per
It really
minute.
just
Yeah, that's good.
what's happening. Yeah, per minute, but between 5 and 7, I would say is my average CS. Um,
Your goal
and
should be around 8. That is
around
usually then you're usually doing pretty good.
okay,
Obviously depends on the game. If you have a super chaotic game where you need to roam all the time, obviously it's gonna be worse. Maybe I can
yeah,
look at my profile and see what I usually have because
yeah,
it's gonna
yeah,
vary quite a lot.
that'd be super helpful. And the other biggest thing is since you're mainly an RE player, do you have kind of like a matchup sheet or an area that I can look online that will help me like learn matchups in the earlier levels? Because I feel like I understand like her power spikes and whatnot, but the biggest thing that I run into is like, should I be attacking them level 2 or do they have the level 2 advantage? Do they have the level 3 advantage or do I have the level 3 advantage? It's always those early
Mhm.
stages in lane that I feel like I don't know what is the power spike of should I be, once again going in or, trying to stay back and play safe for now.
Okay, so I don't have a matchup sheet. Ari is not my most played. It is like my third most played. I am
Oh,
an Oriana main.
oh,
But Ahri was the champion that I had an absurdly good win rate on last time I climbed to Challenger. I think I had 70% in 50 games or something like that. I did really, really well on her.
yeah.
I don't have a sheet, no. What I usually do is if I find that I have struggled in a matchup, I will literally just go to YouTube and search
And,
Ahri versus X champion, right? So
yeah.
I know a matchup that a lot of low MMR players struggle with is Sylas. Ahri into Sylas.
Okay.
You literally just Google them or you search the matchup on YouTube, and then you look at what they do early game, and you try to reason it. So we can do this while we're in queue. Actually, I will screen share. So what matchup do you find that you struggle with on Ari?
There's a few.
Just the
Fizz,
biggest
I
one.
can never win. I can never win against Fizz.
Okay,
Um,
Ari versus Fizz. Let's have a look. You just Google it. Grandmaster. Okay, nice. Love that. Let's have a look. It's like an edited video. Please don't be. Okay, it's not. So we will just find a random video, right? This guy.
yeah.
He's playing some Ari into Fizz. I hear you got a game. So we will just have a look. How does he play level 1? So level 1, he kills all the minions and then he autos Fizz. He does not walk in super aggressively. He just
Mhm.
focuses on getting the minions. Okay, nice. Then he steps back.
Oh.
So
By the way, it gave me jungle, so I'm gonna dodge.
yeah, just dodge it. It's fine. If you get filled again, we can just reschedule as well.
All right, awesome.
So what does he do here? well, what should he do here? He should walk up and then look to hit the fist when he goes for this last hit, right? Because he has no minions. So that is a concept. Okay, he doesn't. That's bad by him, but yeah. He is a Grandmaster player, so he's not going to do everything perfectly. But just the major concepts should be good enough. Actually, should it? I don't like the way this guy's playing, but he is punishing the enemy in the melee matchup, and then you can look at specific levels. So what does he do with the wave? Well, it looks like he's slow pushing it. What is he going to do on this wave? Well, let's have a look. Okay, he hits the fist some more. Crashes the wave, I imagine. He doesn't. Slow pushes. I don't know. This guy's playing a bit weird. Fist dies. Okay. But you would just look through a video like this and see what does this guy do and why do you think he does it.
For sure. That's also... I try and do that, and I think that what my problem is there is that I was kind of... Another concept that you guys talk about on the website, which was another eye-opening thing, was... By the way, I just started up queue again.
Sure.
The other interesting thing was autopilot compared to like actually thinking about the entire game.
Yes.
And when I was watching all of these recap videos, I'm just watching it and I'm not thinking about what they're actually doing. So even if I've watched, countless videos, I've probably seen 1,000+ hours of YouTube videos, I guess I wasn't looking at the finer details as to all those things.
So what I want you to consider when you watch these videos, it's fine to watch them for entertainment or if anything like really sticks out. But if you're trying to improve and watching like concept videos, now I will say, I have not really watched that many of our videos. I just play a lot of games and analyze games. That's about it.
Yeah.
I don't have time to watch all of the skill cap videos because I'm also working with pro teams, right? So,
for sure.
You should try to take something away from the videos, right? Like the intention should be go into the game or go into the video, find something you want to take away, and then really pay attention to that. Like, even if you only find one concept, that's fine, but then you want to try to implement that concept immediately, right? Like, it's not like you're trying to watch it for entertainment, necessarily. You're trying to watch it to take something away from it, right?
100%.
That's the thing.
So, I will say with the skill cap, you guys make it super easy, because you guys kind of walk you through while it's happening. It was more so just with, like, YouTube videos of the Ahri versus Fizz Grandmaster gameplay.
Yeah.
That's where they're not talking over it. That's when I would always be in autopilot mode. But I know I have to start being more aware when I am watching even just replays of other games and whatnot, so I can know.
Yeah, okay, you're trying to find something, right? Like I said, you're trying to find a concept that you want to try to implement yourself. So that's step one of improving, right? Like finding the concept that you're trying to implement. And it can be very weird, right? Because you're trying to figure something out that you don't know, right? Like that's essentially what you're trying to do. So you would watch the video and then ask yourself questions like, why does he do this? Why is he moving here? Why is he using his spells like this? Why is he like doing this with the wave? And usually, so they can be wrong sometimes, right? Like I said, I think this guy played a bit bad actually, but it's good enough for bronze, right? Like it's good enough to hit Grandmaster.
For sure.
So I don't think you have to worry about criticizing, like being very critical of how people play at your level. I don't think that's necessary. That would be something you do if you're trying to hit Challenger. You would be like, okay, I think this guy's making a mistake here. I think he should be doing this again. But also being able to recognize those ideas, like that someone is doing something wrong, obviously shows like a level of mastery, right?
Yeah, for sure. I get that. Yeah. Okay, so while we're kind of just waiting for Q, another concept that I have questions on Ahri specifically is another big thing is during lane, I feel like I can never hit E because they're always just going to be guarded behind minions.
Yep.
I do know the E flash, and I have it down pretty much, and RE as well.
Yep.
But is there like some tips, just general tips that you can give to try and possibly make some more angles while in lane? Because on roams I can always do it, in team fights I can always hit the target, I feel like, but it's always just in lane specifically that I have such a hard time hitting E.
So that makes sense. E is super hard to hit in lane, and if you miss it, now you have like 12 seconds where you don't have a CC spell. So if you miss it and you're playing against a champion that can jump on top of you, right, or anything like that, you have to just be careful for 12 seconds now, right? It's a very risky spell to use in lane. I don't know if you watch our commentaries. I know I do the mid lane commentaries for our site, and I have played quite a bit of Ahri. If not, then I also have Ahri on my personal YouTube channel. If you want to watch those, that's fine as well. But you will probably notice that I very rarely use my E in lane. Just because it's such a high risk spell. Unless. So, a way you increase skill shot accuracy is if the enemy champion is lined up against terrain or anything like that, right? So if they're standing next to a wall in mid lane or something like that, you can usually go up and throw the E, and it like that removes an entire direction they can dodge, right? Which makes it a lot easier to hit the skill shot. But the honest truth is, no, it's a fucking hard spell to hit in lane.
Got it.
Because
Okay, so
it's very hard to get
not
on top of
being
champions.
crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's just
So
a very
really,
hard
you're
spell
just
to
trying to do your damage with W and Q then. That's
Yes,
really
W,
what
Q, and auto attacks. Against melees, E is obviously easier to hit. Because well, they're just closer to you, right?
Right up in your face. For
Yeah,
sure.
so it's easier to hit. There's less distance. But if you're playing ranged versus ranged, usually the enemy champion is outside of your E range almost the entire lane.
Yeah.
So it's just some Blazers. No, you're probably not gonna hit them unless you ult on top of them. Then you can hit it.
Yeah.
But that's about it. But you said, yeah, like it's just blindly hitting E, very very hard unless you kill the entire minion wave and the enemy is out of position.
Yeah. Got it.
But it's gonna be
Okay.
very rare that happens, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it does because some
Yeah.
of these kids are terrible in this elo at least.
Yeah.
And we're like, there's some players that I play against where I'm like, dude, have you ever played this game at all before? And there's some players where I'm like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing and he's making it somewhat hard. So, and,
Yeah.
you know, the matchups where they stink, 100%. I can just, that's where I normally pop off in the games, is where my laner is really, really weak, and I'll be up like, 6-1, 6 kills, 1 death. And then my bot lane is now 0 and 8.
Yeah,
and-
that one is the one that's hard. I mean, some games you just won't win,
Yeah.
and it sucks. If your bot lane before you hit level 7 is already like dying 6 times, yeah, it's probably gonna be a really hard game to win. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's how it goes. Ahri doesn't roam very early.
Yeah, it's always like after 6.
Yep.
So between the 6 and 11 range is where I feel like I'm roaming most.
Yep, she doesn't roam very early. Mm, mm. Let me look.
And I'm queued up, by the way. I'm a minute in. I'll stream.
Alright, sweet.
But yeah, this is I just bought this other account here. My other, like my main account, I'm even worse than bronze. I'm iron in my main account that I've been playing for mostly like 3 years.
Yeah, I just looked it up.
Yeah. The Golden Hakai is my main account.
Yep.
But that's where I kind of like learned every kind of role. My first main was Kindred. I've played every role on my old account, and I think I wasn't really taking it as seriously as I should to climb. I was more so just doing it to kind of get an idea to who's my fun characters I like to play,
Yep.
all that stuff. And now is when I'm really trying to get serious and actually climb.
Okay,
So
that makes sense. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, you can climb while still having fun. I think it's important to recognize that because, well, just simply the more games you play, the better you'll be, right? I think.
yeah. I think that the characters that I find the most fun to play are either assassins or high skill champions. Like when I was playing top lane, I liked Gangplank a lot.
Yep.
It's always high skill cap or assassins. Those are the 2 archetypes that I find fun.
I mean, what I usually tell people is just play the champions that you find fun because you'll play the game
Yeah.
more.
For sure.
Like if you're miserable playing Ahri Mid every game, right? Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna be playing as much because it's gonna be more of a chore.
There we go. So we got the mid.
All right,
This is good.
sweet. What do you
I
usually
also
ban?
I tried some Oriana for like the first time a couple weeks ago. She's impossible, by the way, so that you can pull her off is really impressive.
She's
I feel like the poke is so weak. Like even if I'm hitting them with like so many abilities, I'm just getting outscaled no matter what I do. I feel like.
she has to whittle champions down.
Yeah. I guess I don't have enough patience to play her because it does take forever with the poke that she has.
Yeah, you have to hit the enemy with like 10 Qs in lane to be able to do anything.
Exactly, and I'm like 5 in, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, man? We should be dead by now. 5
Yeah,
Qs are
the thing about it as well is if you get hit by like if you're playing against an assassin or a trade or anything like that, you can hit your Q like 3 times, and if the enemy gets like just one good trade on you, you still lost.
Yeah, that's what I was running into when I was
Yeah.
playing Oriana. So I was like, let's move away. I
Yeah.
don't know what the mobility is here. I need my mobility when I get into situations that I fuck up on, and
Yep. She's
that's
a she's a fun champion though. I really enjoy her. It's my favorite champion.
so. What other mid lane? I mean, I know you like Oriana and Ahri. You're in your top three. Who's your number two that you play?
Probably Kassadin.
Kassadin. Okay, so
Yeah. At the moment, I can actually look at my OPGG just to have a look. I have my NA account right here. Let's see.
and also these are the standard runes that I take. I'm pretty sure they're normal, but is there anything you would change?
Wow, this guy knew that the enemy picked Katarina. I would go sorcery second, depending on matchup.
Sorcery second.
Yeah, just
Okay.
with mana flow and transcendence.
Yeah.
Because with
So
Ahri, if you're not running Dematerializer, I don't think you one-shot the ranged minions at level 7.
no,
Yeah.
normally no, level 9 is when you start to.
Yeah, you can do it at level 7 if you run Doran's Ring instead of Corrupting Potion, I'm pretty sure. So I would just go Transcendence and Mana Flow.
Okay, so transcendence here. And
Yeah.
what would be like the time that I would know to run sorcery compared to inspiration?
Well, I would, in most, also don't take HP instead of armor. Armor is generally speaking not a good rune to run because it gets outscaled by HP at level 4 already.
Okay.
Well, in most instances, level 4 to 6 depends on champions on enemy team, right? Well, when would you run inspiration secondary? Let's think.
I feel like I really like the cookies. Like that's what I feel like. It just gives me so much extra sustain, and that's why I feel like I win a lot of matchups.
Cookies are
But
nice, yeah, they're nice. But Ahri usually doesn't play very lane dominant early. She's actually quite a slow champion because she doesn't deal that much damage. So in most matchups, you're not really gonna be. Wait, let's think. Well, I mean, for your level, it would probably be against control mages. You would run inspiration secondary.
okay.
Usually against control mages, you actually play spellbook, so that gives you inspiration tree straight away. But I don't think you should be playing spellbook. It just adds another
Yeah,
layer of depth, right? So you would
that's
start.
something that I'm unfamiliar with the spell book. Like I know what it is and I know how it works, but it's something that I can rarely ever play.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. So you would start Doran's Ring here with potions. Yeah.
And W start.
Yep. So, what we always want to do when we're heading into the game, right? We want to think about how do we trade in this matchup? Like, how does this matchup play out? So let's think about it. How do we want to trade against Katarina? What type of trades do we want?
Burst trades, I would think, but she possibly wins burst trades because she's also a burst trade champ.
So your damage comes out quicker than hers, and your damage comes out quicker than a lot of melee champions in the way that you can auto attack, WQ, and then disengage the trade.
Yeah, for elect proc.
Yeah. So that's how your trade is gonna look, and then you're gonna disengage and wait for cooldowns afterwards. So it's gonna be auto Ws and auto WQ. That's about it. So how does Katarina want to trade? What does she need to do to trade with you?
She's gonna Q and then probably she's gonna Q the front line and then E on to me.
Yeah, she's gonna jump to her daggers, right?
Yeah.
But Katarina actually needs a lot of distance to trade with you. She needs quite like her trade is slower than yours, if that makes sense. But yeah.
Okay. And also, I know this is a really bad habit, but sometimes in lane I lock camera and then I unlock camera while I'm starting to roam.
That's
Is that
fine.
all right, or would you always recommend that I'm unlocked?
That's fine if you find it easier. I would play unlocked, but yeah. Just focus on last hitting with auto attacks if possible. And then try to auto the cat when you can. Like here, for example. You could hit her. Yeah, nice. Yeah, keep hitting her. Nice.
And then here I kind of back off and try and just aim for minions now.
Yep. Yeah, just keep hitting the minions. You can hit them a bit more. You're just trying to thin the wave, actually.
Thin the wave.
Yeah, there you go. Now you can stop and just focus on last hits again. Careful with how far you walk up when you have to go for last hits. You can hit her here. Yeah, nice. Good.
Alright. So it's slow pushing towards him.
Yep, that's fine. You can pop a potion here as well, so we don't drop too much HP. It sucks that your W didn't tag, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Alright. She's missing quite a lot of minions, which is nice. Be a bit careful. So you're not gonna proactively walk up and try to hit her. You're gonna wait for her to have to come to you, and then you're gonna hit her. Yeah, nice, good job. So usually the way you want this to work against melee champs is you want them to have to walk into you, and then you can hit them.
Got it. So just like right here, he's gonna go for the CS, so I know that I can attack him.
Yeah, you would like to thin the wave again now as well. What is this Jax doing? Really makes you think, huh?
Welcome to bronze.
That was one way to approach that. You can pop your potion as well.
Yeah.
An ally has been slain.
I should back off here.
Just gonna jump there. Careful. I'm shocked you didn't die there. Wait, what? I want you to know that you were dead there, but it's fine.
Okay. So what should I have done? Just stay further back?
We will look at it in replay. We will review it afterwards.
Okay.
I will take a note of it. So just be mentally prepared for her to jump on top of you.
Yep. I'm just kind of waiting for the E.
Yeah, your Jax just did a bit of a madness, but it's fine. You want to try to see if you can get a recall in any manner. And the way to get that is by pushing out the wave. So you would just want to use Q on the wave. Yeah, just push it fast. Yeah. Yeah, just push it out and then look to recall afterwards. That's fine. Just leave. The wave is gonna hit anyway. You don't have to walk up. Alright. Now you can recall. You can pick up Dark Seal and Refillable. Or Amp Tome and Refillable, depends what you prefer. Depends how confident you're feeling.
Let's go Dark Seal.
Love it. On the left, yeah. And then Refillable Potion. Nice. Good. W back to lane. It's good. Make sure you have your potion on the right key as well. I don't know which one you use it on. Alright.
Yeah, thanks. Cool. I use kind of both. Like, these are the two that I have on the side mouse buttons that I have.
I see. I personally just use one for the potions, but yeah. So now you just want to focus on collecting this minion wave, if you possible. If you can hit Katarina, it's good as well, but we're trying to get all the minions, right? That's what matters the most. Yeah, you can use W to last it. It's completely fine.
So in this situation where Jax does like these weird things, should I be trying to go in for a fight like that, or should I be focusing the minions?
Nope. This will never work. If you don't think a gank will work, you're not gonna waste your time.
Got it.
I don't know what this guy's doing. Oh, you can hit her a little bit though. She's trolling. Nice, good. And then just back off, wait for your Q, CS the minions, and then wait for Q, and now you can push the wave with Q as well. If she's just gonna let you push like this and play non-interactively, you're gonna take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hit her under the tower. Oh, that's close. If that hit, she was dead.
Yeah.
It's close, it's fine. Pop your potion. You just want to be as close to full HP as possible. You can still hit her. Reason being is if you get ganked here, you want to be full HP basically.
Should I be... Where should I put ward right now? Like right in bush here?
Yeah, you can go for a ward wherever you want to. Warwick, you're getting ganked. Right. Wow, that was a funny way for her to play that.
How could I have better played that?
We will look at all of these things in review afterwards in terms of how you play, because it's weird for me to describe it while you're still playing. We just focus on the next thing immediately.
Got it.
It's not about how could I play that better, it's like I will take note of that and then I will look at it afterwards.
I gotcha.
That's what you should think as well. We immediately want to focus on the next thing.
So now I should be trying to slow push?
Yeah, you want to get a recall here, right? Because you're low on mana. It's not like you can keep pressuring the Katarina. So the way to get a recall is usually just by crashing. If you can do it quickly enough. But you don't have mana for Q, so it kind of sucks. But you will level up soon.
So it is still like just trying to push it, just auto attacks, I guess?
Yeah. You will have to crash the next wave. With Q. So you will just Q the next wave as soon as it arrives. And then look to crash it. And then just leave. And then you're gonna recall and buy double amp tome. Yeah, that's fine. And then just leave. You're not even gonna hit her, because it doesn't matter. We're leaving anyway. Yeah, just recall.
Yeah.
Double,
What did you say I was gonna get?
double amp tome. Yeah, so 2 of those. Yeah, that should allow you to one-shot the wave with a Q, if I'm not mistaken. You're just gonna wait for a bit of mana as well. Doesn't have to be full mana. It can just be like 70% and then just run back to lane. So, our intention. Not to kill Katarina unless she grieves, because it's basically impossible. We can deal damage to her, which is fine. That's good. But our intention is always just trade with her with the intention of roaming. And she's roaming bot lane, so our bot lane is probably dead.
So since she's roaming here,
You're just gonna go mid. You're just gonna go push mid. Like, you're not gonna follow that roam. It's a bit too late.
And at this point, do I want a hard shove or do I want to slow push right now?
You just want a hard shove and then you want to see if you can cross map. Usually at this level, or at this, yeah, at this level. Oh, damn. Not enough AP. That sucks.
Yeah.
I think if you have a Lost Chapter plus Amp Tome, then it's enough. And then you can go for either Plate or Ward. Plate is fine. Just make sure that Warwick is mid lane, so you have to probably leave. It's behind you. Yeah. Oh, you can look for Katarina. Good charm. Nice. 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 Keep pushing. And then just you can go for another plate. Or you can just hit the tower for as much as you want. So what you're gonna do here is you're gonna push the next wave.
Okay. Because she's gone and I know I can just get the free.
Yep, you're gonna
Crap.
push this wave and then you're probably actually gonna go for this plate if you're feeling very greedy.
I probably will. In my style, that's what I would be doing.
Perfect,
And then
you
if I
just do
see her
that.
show, then I would just back off.
Yeah, but you should already try to calculate when she's gonna be back mid lane, right?
Okay.
For example, if she's already there, then you would have liked to leave beforehand.
Okay.
You can recall, it's fine. So you're trying to think about when she's gonna be mid lane.
Alright. And I normally run Everfrost pretty much every game. When would you recommend not to? And go like Ludens or something?
You can just run Everfrost this game, it's fine. It's most often than not just completely fine to build.
Alright.
Like, there are certain games where if you're against a lot of squishies that you can cleanly one-shot and you need to cleanly one-shot them, you would run Ludens.
Yeah.
There are games where probably this game you would run something like Leandri's, but if you are used to Everfrost, just run Everfrost. It doesn't matter that much.
Because is there like a certain set of rules that I can have for like? I know that like Leandri's is good against tanks. Everfrost is more utility, and then Ludens is for squishies.
I think honestly, just play Everfrost every game. It's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that much. Get the plate if possible.
Yeah.
Katarina needs to pay for roaming. She is behind you, so let's be aware of this.
Yep.
So while you're doing stuff like this, you want to look at the map, right? Yeah, you can
So
keep
like
hitting.
I saw that she was there, and I knew that she was coming, but why should I still not push the plate there?
Oh, you
'Cause I
can
feel
take the plate, but you just need to be mentally prepared for how you're gonna play it when she arrives. Just keep pushing the wave, by the way. This is the point of the game where you just push every wave and you look for roams. So yeah, level 9, I can see why you might feel like you're not being able or not doing a whole lot after lane. Because the intention at this point is not even to hit the Katarina, unless she walks into your face. The intention is just you push every wave. Like this.
Oh.
Yeah, you just push it. You're gonna leave after this. And just recall. You have item in base.
Okay.
But yeah, at this point what you do is you push wave and then you look to roam. And then you push wave and you look to roam. Like you push wave, look to get wards, you push the wave and look to do something. Yeah, get boots. Yeah. Make sure you have Everfrost on the correct key as well.
Yeah, so what I normally do is like that, once I get the Everfrost.
Yeah, that's the same as I do. I just place it on 1 and 2, but I don't have mouse buttons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're gonna push this wave, and then you're gonna push the wave afterwards, and you're gonna see if you can roam bot lane.
Got it.
Yeah, just Q. Yeah, it's fine. Now you push the next wave as well. Yeah, Katarina's bot lane. Don't care. We're just pushing. And then let's see if we can respond to the bot lane play. Maybe we run bot lane. Play some wards on the way there. Let's pay attention to what's going on in terms of their HP bars. Can we dive this, is what we are asking ourselves. I think the answer is yes, so you want to get behind them. You're not running there, by the way. You're standing still.
My bad.
Yeah, this play looks a bit over, unless Jhin walks in.
And then Warwick is coming here.
Yeah, you can hit the Warwick if you want to, with a charm, sure.
Missed.
Okay. How is the Jhin looking? What HP is he? Oh, we didn't see. Just push the wave then. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and then just run back mid lane.
Run back to mid lane?
Yep.
Okay.
If Annie wants to play it, she can have it, but we want to make sure that we're not dropping waves.
Got it.
There's a Warwick somewhere around here. He smells you. Yeah, you're just gonna go catch this wave, push the next wave, and then look for roam. The important thing is, when you're roaming somewhere, look at it. Like, actually look at the champions, look at everything. Because that is gonna inform... like, that's gonna help you make a better decision in terms of how you're approaching the play, right? So there, for example, what you could have done is you could have walked behind the enemy tower and just dove the Jhin, and you would have killed him, like, cleanly. He was just dead.
Yeah.
But you weren't paying attention, so you didn't do that. Right? Like, it's about giving yourself information. So here, we would run down. There's a Drake fight going on. You're not actually trying to fight this Drake. You're just trying to see if anyone is gonna step into you and die. Yeah, you can leave. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Your Tristana is doing a bit of a madness here. But maybe it's good. Yeah, that works. Nice. That works. Look to get out.
And yeah, Jin's like over here somewhere, so I'm just gonna try and recall.
Pop your potions as well.
Maybe I can go back over here and fight.
Jhin is on dragon, so let's be aware of that. You're running into him here. Nice, that works. Sure. And then mid lane. Go mid lane and push the wave. Yeah, this is the point of the game, by the way, where it is pretty inexcusable to play lock camera.
Okay.
When you start roaming, that's when, like, it's okay for the first couple of levels, but once you start roaming, it is not allowed anymore. Now it's illegal.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. I understand that, and it's just bad habit, and I gotta be better about unlocking.
I mean, it's something you have to break eventually. Just recall, by the way. You're not going for the next tower.
Okay, so recall?
You have a lot of gold. Yeah, just recall. Get your boots and then look to pick up the next item. The question is, what are we building next? Depends what you want to do this game. I would probably go Horizon focus.
Horizon?
Yep. Okay. I don't think you're one-shotting people this game. I would also go CDR boots. Yeah, and then just go into Horizon. Yeah. And you can sell refillable for the other item. Yeah. Okay. And get a sweeper if you can.
That's another thing I don't do.
Yeah. So, once your job becomes roaming a lot, which is usually around level 9, you get sweeper. So here, what do you do? Let's look at the map. Where can we get resources?
I mean, Rift and Top are like the only things that I would think to originally go to, but I don't know.
So, also pay attention to what's going on mid. So, I would actually run bot lane here.
Bot lane. Because it's pushed, the tower's gone, and I want to just try and put it into the pressure zone for them?
It's actually a lot simpler. It's because your bot lane is mid lane, and your top laner is top lane. So, the only place you can go to get minions is bot lane.
Got it. Okay.
So that is what you pay attention to every single time you come out of base. Now, be aware of where Nautilus is. When you're not doing anything, just look at the map. So Nautilus is behind you right now. Yeah, you see him on the map.
He's on drag, yeah.
Yeah, he's up there.
He pushes here.
Yeah, now let's look at mid lane. Let's pay attention to mid lane. So this is a point. So after you push away, you don't have to go there, by the way. When I say look there, I just mean like move your camera over and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Because we saw Jhin. Yeah, you're not gonna roam there. It's fine. So what you're gonna do every single time you're in the side lane, so you can probably kill this guy, by the way, if you really want to. Like, he's just griefing for some reason. Yeah, I don't really know what he's thinking, but yeah, well played to him, I guess. Yeah, keep pushing, by the way. You're safe. No one else is here. So keep pressuring. So, every single time you push out a wave in side lane, you want to pay attention to the map, right? You want to pay attention while you're pushing. So here, look at the map while you're pushing this. Katarina mid lane, right? That's the one thing we saw.
Yep.
So what you want to do after you push out is you want to consider what to do next, obviously, right? So here, can you roam mid lane? Is the question I would ask myself. What do you think the answer is?
No, because Jax is there and it's a 2v1 for them.
Simpler. No, because you don't have ult. Your champion is completely useless without ult. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So no would be the answer. Okay, then we just push the wave, and then we probably just leave because we don't have ult, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just use your W as well. Just keep running. Oh, you can one-shot that guy if you really want to. You have Everfrost as well if needed. Nice. Nice. Works. Nautilus is there as well. Just keep running.
Yeah, I see him.
And then you just recall. And now we repeat. So, mid-game. It's always gonna be like this. You're gonna go into the lane where no one else is. You're gonna push the wave, and after you push the wave, you're gonna recognize if there's anywhere you can roam. I would honestly just... You can go whatever. You can go Hourglass next. Depends if you are actually gonna use it. The reason for Hourglass is you would use it against like a Nautilus knockup or something like this to make sure you can't get one shot.
Yeah.
So, let's look at the map. Where do we go?
Mid lane? Nobody's there?
Okay. In my head, Tristana is gonna go mid lane after this, but let's see. No, you pushed the wave out before. In my head, Tristana is gonna go mid lane. But yes, so the reason you actually go mid lane is more advanced here. It's because there's nothing for you to do at bot lane because of where the wave is.
Yeah.
Yeah, just push out the wave.
Kind of thinking it's so far pushed up.
Yep.
There's like, what can I do there?
Yep. So then you would open through mid lane instead. So now pay attention to the map. There's a fight going on the right. Can we kill anyone? I'm seeing the Nautilus there. He looks like he's mighty dead. Just walk to him. He can't one-shot you, right? He's gonna be in the pit. If you wanna ult on him, you can. You don't think you need to. Yeah. And then you just go back to mid lane. And you push out the wave.
Right.
Yeah, and you push the next wave. You keep doing this. You push next wave. Your team doesn't need you on Dragon, right? Like, who's gonna contest?
Yeah, that's true.
No one. They're all dead. So you're gonna push this wave. And you're gonna pay attention to the map while you do this. Now you're gonna move into the enemy topside jungle. And you're gonna sweep.
Okay.
There's actually a Warwick bot side. Maybe you... Nah, you don't reach him. You're gonna sweep and you're gonna wait for someone to come here. So Jhin is bot lane. So no one that you can one-shot is gonna come up here. So you're actually just gonna go hit the wave now.
Yeah.
So the intention here is you sweep all this. You know that it's clear vision. So after you push this wave, someone has to come up here, right? And you're gonna try to one-shot that person. If it is Jhin or Katarina. If it is anyone else, you obviously don't kill them.
Yeah.
So Aatrox, God no, we're not one-shotting him.
Yeah.
That's not happening. So now we're just gonna leave. You can walk into the enemy jungle if you want to. Like, your intention every time you push is to make a play happen somewhere else.
Okay. So what should I be trying to focus on now, since they're all kind of pushing mid, and I have Aatrox here, and I can't.
You would try to get to fight mid lane. You would try to get behind the enemy team mid lane and force a fight. So you see how you could have walked into the enemy jungle and looked for the enemy team. You could have been behind them already, and you would have probably one-shot the Jhin. Yeah, like this. And then you walk into this bush. Yeah. And now you look at the enemy mid lane, or enemy under tower, and you see if you can find an angle on them, where you ult charm. Oh, well, there's an Aatrox there that you can kill as well. That works too. Sure. He's not, but it's fine. You can ult if you need to. You have ignites though as well. You have stopwatch too if you need it.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Look for charm. You can one-shot when your spells are up again. That works.
Right.
You had stopwatch, but yeah. So, the intention is always you push out, you walk into the enemy jungle, and you see if you can get behind the enemy team. You can sell your Doran's Ring if you want to for a Phoenix Codex. It's fine. Seeker's Armguard is pretty bad. It's just not very gold efficient. It got nerfed too much. It used to be very gold efficient. It used to be the most gold efficient item in the game. It used to be 200% at fully stacked, but now I think it's like... I think it starts at like 78 or something, and then stacks to 120. It's pretty bad.
Okay.
Where can we get resources?
Bot.
Yep, sure. So you want to go bot, you push out, and then you look to move into the enemy jungle and try to find an angle on the enemy backline that's going to be sitting mid lane. That is...
Kind of like through here.
Yes, there. What? Sorry?
So on the map in the corner here, I'll try and push out.
Yeah.
And then if I see a fight break out here, I'll walk through and then try and just come in back and fight him right there.
Yes, you're going to ult in and try to engage the fight and look for a one-shot. You're always going to come from the side. Always. In fights. Because if the enemy sees you, right, your champion is useless.
Yeah.
So Nautilus is here. You can probably one-shot that guy if he walks up again. If you just ult and then Everfrost. And then Charm afterwards.
Okay.
That's your usual combo.
So here I can keep pushing?
Yep. You're not going to make it to the top fight anyway, right? Like, you're too slow.
Yep.
So you would just want to keep pushing. Your Mordekaiser is just deciding to kill everyone. So that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, take that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm understanding why you feel like you get advantages and you can't use them.
So it's just really the biggest thing of rotating and then going back to the one line. That's the biggest thing so far,
Yes.
I feel like.
Yes, during mid-game for sure. Like, you push and then you leave. That's bad. You have to push and then look for an angle to fight the enemy team. Here you could take inhib. So Katarina is going to show up. So mentally prepare yourself to fight Katarina.
Yep.
Never mind, they're going to FF. Okay.
Oh.
That works too.
Alright. So that was helpful. I felt like I learned a lot already.
So
just in a short time.
we're going to review this. And I will write some notes for you.
Perfect.
Let me...
And also, maybe a silly question as well, but how often do you coach? Because I feel like I probably set up a session once a week with you.
Once a week is usually optimal. Once a week or once every 2 weeks, I say is ideal. Yeah, it takes time to implement stuff, right? Like, you're not instantly going to implement everything. What I usually do is I set up sessions with people and then give them some concepts, help them try to implement them, and then have like a check-in after a week or 2 weeks to see how they're doing on it, see if they're getting better at it, and if not, then we will try to like change the approach, right? Like like my intention is not to like give you every single concept in the world. I think that would be silly. My intention is to try to show you how you can do this on your own, right? Like, it's more so of a tutor, right, than it is like I'm trying to teach you everything.
Yeah, for sure. Because I have to be able to, when you're not there, I have to be able to figure these things out on my own.
Exactly. So I'm trying to get you to a point where you can do things on your own, where you can learn on your own as well, right? Like, not just play the game, but actually learn new concepts on your own. So I don't have to give you it every single time.
100%.
Okay, I will share my screen. Let me know if you see it.
Thank you so much once again.
Oh, no worries, man. Let me know if my connection is a bit bad. I am on Wi-Fi, so you never know. Alright, it's all good.
I can't see your stream yet.
Alright, we'll just wait then. Maybe I have to restart it.
Oh wait, nope. Now I can see. Yep.
Right, splendid. Turn off sound so I don't hear myself. Do you see this? Everything?
Yep.
You can see this drawing as well? Okay.
Yep.
Good. So, level 1. Yeah, you can see I have notes. We want to establish how to trade. Like, that is the biggest thing. That's what you want us to do at the start of every game. These are just questions I have, so don't worry.
Yep.
So these are concepts. Establish how to trade in lane. So here we established quick trades, good. Try to not let the enemy trade back with you. That's usually how Ahri plays. Against range matchups, it's going to be a lot of, well, you're just going to try to hit them with max range Qs, because Ahri is outranged by a lot of champions, right? So that's how that works. Like, Ahri, your entire intention is get to level 7, get to level 9, and then start roaming. You're actually not trying to kill the enemy in lane, unless it's a melee matchup, then you can try to kill the enemy in lane.
Okay.
That is how she plays. She plays very, very, like, slowly in that regard, compared to what people think.
Is there any exceptions in regards to that rule? Is there any...
range matchups?
Yeah, any range that I should be trying to fight? I feel like Asol, I destroy him every lane. No...
I haven't played against the new Asol as Ahri, so I don't know. But I know he's very, very weak in lane, so you can probably fight him, yeah. You can probably fight something like... let's think. Like a Syndra early, you can probably fight as well if you manage to dodge your Qs. Obviously, there are exceptions, right?
Yeah.
if you dodge their spells or you make them waste a spell, yes, you can fight them regardless, right? Because if they don't have anything, like how are they gonna fight back? Like if you see a Syndra miss her E, if you see a Syndra miss her Q, yeah, you're gonna walk up and play very, very aggressively.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do we play level 1? You can already start to slow push if you really want to. I don't mind how you play this. I think focusing on how to play more advanced concepts in terms of waves, like stacking waves and stuff like this, is not really that helpful in bronze. I think this is something that's more important once you start hitting the plat diamond level.
Yeah.
I think in bronze it just comes down to get every single minion, kill the enemy if they walk up and try to fuck around, and then just roam. Like that is what we're gonna try to do.
Okay.
So W, I generally speaking don't like being used on the minions on the first wave, just because in melee matchups, because you can use it on the enemy champion and it's better.
Yeah.
So let's go back here. So I think these two autos are good because it means that these minions are gonna die at different timings. So I will write this down. In melee matchups, try to use W on the enemy champion, level 1.
Is there ever a time you start Q, or is it always W?
Range matchups you can start Q, yeah.
Okay.
I think you can do it against something like Orianna, Syndra, these champions, where you can try to like hit a max range Q on them.
Yeah.
But melee matchups, you're always starting W.
Yeah.
So here, for example, you would want to last... Actually, what I should write instead is just... Also what I should write. Try to last hit minions without using spells. If possible. Early game. Wait. Just the main reason being, if you use spells, they go on cooldown, right? So you can't use them on the enemy champion. You can't punish them as hard. Obviously, if you're playing against ranged champions, if they pressure you very hard, you have to use spells to last it. And if you're pushing and trying to roam, you can do it as well. So here, I would like for you to walk in and just hit her. So this is the pattern we're going to try to get you into. This is what you should be trying to do in lane to try to think about when to trade. So what I want you to start doing is you recognize if there's anything you have to last hit in the lane, right? So here, are there any minions you have to last hit, like at this point?
No.
Okay, good. Then I want you to move on to, are there any minions the enemy has to last hit?
Yes.
And then I want, yeah, this one right here, right?
Yep.
And then I want you to recognize, is there any way we can punish that?
Just stepping up and I don't have W, but auto attacking.
Yep. That is the pattern you're going to start using. So it's very, very simple, but we're going to keep it very simple for now. Like, obviously, more factors will be introduced to this, but this is what we're going to start with. Do I have to last hit anything? If the answer is yes, you obviously just last hit it, by the way.
Okay, so that's like priority 1 is last hitting anything, then looking at do they have anything. So always
yes.
Killing my minions before even going for trades or anything.
Yes, when you start getting good at this, what you can do is you can start last hitting while paying attention to the enemy as well. So what I would actually be doing here, I would be looking at these minions.
Yep.
I would kill this minion, right? I would kill these minions, and then I would recognize, okay, well, she has to last hit these 3 minions now. So I would walk into her already while I'm killing that last minion. But that's more advanced concept. Like, you would already start planning ahead. But this is what we're going to do for now. Okay. I think, by the way, your biggest weaknesses are not in laning phase. They're out of laning phase. So yeah, I will skip over this a little bit faster. There are just a bunch of timings where you could walk up and try to hit her when she has to go for last hits. In terms of... Okay, yeah, this is an obvious way to trade when she doesn't have spells available, right? Like, that's one. So I will actually write this down. When to trade with the enemy. When to trade with... Trade. If they don't have spells... Actually, there's an easier way to phrase this. When we have an advantage. So I will ask you a question now.
Yep.
What types of advantages would you look for when you're trying to trade with the enemy? Think of anything. Like any sort of advantage in the lane.
Like CS advantage, having abilities up, having summoner spells up.
Yep.
Having prio just as far as your character is stronger than their character at that point in the game. Having a bigger minion wave to help fight the enemy. I don't know what else. Those are some of the things that I'm thinking of.
Level advantage.
The advantage as well is huge. I can't believe I forgot that.
HP advantage.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
those are the main ones. I think there are probably some more like mana advantage, but I don't think that's
yeah,
important at this level.
fine, but yeah, I get that. Where they have no mana, they can't
Yeah.
fight anything. You're full mana, you
Yeah,
can just go in first.
exactly. I think these are the main ones to look for. So if you recognize any of these, I think you should try to think about how can we trade,
Okay.
right? Or if the
Yep.
enemy has to go for last hits. These are the main two things that indicate when you should trade.
Okay.
If you don't see any of these, you don't walk up.
Got it.
I'm gonna make it very, very simple for you. Like, if you don't recognize an advantage, and if you don't see that the enemy has to go for last hits, you do not walk up.
Yep. Just stay back.
Yes. Exactly. And then if the enemy walks into you, you can still trade, but you're not proactively looking for a trade. Does that make sense?
Yep. 100%.
Okay, because in this instance, there are a lot of times where you would walk up, and the Katarina could trade with you if she wanted to, and it would be a good trade for her, because you would be too close to the enemy minions. But if you just stay back and wait for the Katarina to walk into you, you can hit her without her being able to trade back with you. So you're not proactively going to look for a trade unless you have these concepts, right?
Yeah.
So here you could hit her as well, for example, because she's just trolling, right? She's running into you, like, for no reason.
Right.
You're just a bit slow at recognizing it, but she also shouldn't be doing this. I
So
think we would...
As soon as I see her E into my minion wave, that's when I should have...
Cooldown
recognized.
advantage, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Cooldown advantage. So then we go. Immediately. We trade. Yeah, sure. You can even proactively look for it if she wastes her Q. It's still a cooldown advantage, right? But if she's competent, she's gonna walk back. And you also, obviously, like... Everything... it's not like you're just gonna start straight up running at her, right? Like, you're gonna walk up a bit, and if she walks back, you just recognize, okay, we're not gonna trade. I just took some space in the lane, that's fine. Like, of course, everything isn't just, like, completely run the enemy down. Like, it's hard to, like, specifically tell you how far up you should run or anything like this. It mainly comes down to feeling of how far you think you should, like, push that advantage in terms of getting space in the lane. But yeah. Yeah, here you should die.
The spacing of the other enemy's champions' abilities as well, right?
Yes, exactly. It all comes down to the space. Yeah, here you should die. I don't know why you don't. This Katarina just plays it in a very, very funky manner. She could kill you, for sure. If she plays competently. It's very, very funny to see. Yeah, here you would have to be very careful with how far you walk up. Mostly because... So this is actually also very instructional. So, when you have to last hit a minion, right? Try to be as far away from the enemy champion as possible. Why? Why do you think that is? Yeah, she will try to punish you when you have to last hit, right? Like, just like you try to punish her when you have to last hit. So you want to try to stay a bit safer. I would stand here and kill this minion. And then after I kill the minion, I would look to walk in, right?
Yeah.
So, I will write this down as well. When last hitting, try to stay away from the enemy champion. Another concept I will just give you in lane, not something that you have to focus very heavily on, just a thing that, like, makes sense logically. If you're trying to force trades, stand on the same side of the lane as them, because the distance is shorter between them, right?
Yeah, okay.
So, like, just in terms of, like, this, right? Like, this is obviously longer. Yeah.
Yeah, hitting the ability is way easier.
Yeah. Like, it's easier to force trades with them. So, also, you can use this if you're in a losing matchup. You try to play across from the enemy champion, because then it's harder for them to trade with you.
Yeah.
This is also something you would use to set up ganks, for example. So, if you know that Katarina will play diagonally from you, you would actually walk topside here and force her to the bot side and walk into your jacks. Very cool stuff you can do with that, but not super important for how you play.
I got it.
Yeah, so here, your E has to come instantly, otherwise you're losing. If she's good here, she just jumps back onto you here and ignites you, and then you flash away and she will E on top of you and flash out and you're just dead. But she decides not to, which is nice by her. I don't know how you don't die here. But it's a miracle.
I see that now in hindsight, how that totally could have happened, though.
Yes, exactly. So how do we avoid this? Is what you would look. So if you see something happening like this in the game where you're close to dying or something like this, or where you have a big interaction, go back into the replay. You can use the Riot client replay if you want to. I personally have a program that records all of my replays like this, and it will record all of my replays in first-person VOD. So if anything happens, for example, you could go to this point in the lane, and you could see, oh, I'm against Victor here. He's low HP. I will walk
Yeah.
up and I will place QW on him, and he will die because this guy was not very good.
Yeah.
This guy was a master tier player, by the way. I want you to know that. So anyone can do it. Yeah, anyone can do it. But yeah, it's called Outplayed. If you want
Yeah,
it.
that okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Good.
Outplayed. I will write it here. It's an Overwolf app. Just records all of your games. So what you have to do when you download it initially is you will go into settings here, and then you will press League of Legends and go full match, because otherwise it will only do your highlights, like when you die or when you get kills.
Yep. Okay.
And then you can like review some things yourself, right? Like we're doing right now, for example.
For sure. Yeah.
What I would recommend is, and what I will write down here as well, while you're in queue, take 5 to 10 minutes to review the last game. Just anything you found interesting or anything. Take notes.
That's something I never do, is just review my own games. So that's something you would do almost after every single game is review?
Yeah, if I have anything I'm confused about. If you're trying to improve, yes. At this point, I'm not trying to play professionally anymore, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
I will look at like my team's games and look at those while I'm in queue instead. But yes, I would always try to review something while in queue if you're trying to get better. Just because it's 5 to 10 minutes where you have like downtime where you're in queue anyway. Like you're gonna be watching a different video anyway while you're in queue, right? Might as well look at your own game and try to take some notes and see what could I have done differently.
Yeah.
For example, what you would do this game is you would look very, very heavily at your mid game, and this is what I would recommend you do as well, actually. When you look at your own reviews, I would not focus on laning phase specifically with you, because I don't think it's a problem. I think we've tackled most of the laning issues at this point. I would look specifically at your mid game. Every single time you're in queue, just 5 minutes, and you look at that at mid game, and you're like, could I have done something differently here? Could I have found an angle to get behind the enemy team? Could I have found a better roam? Could I have looked for anything like this, right?
Yeah.
What could I do differently? Yeah, so when you're low HP, look for resets. How do we get resets? We push the wave.
Yeah.
So we get resets.
So let me ask you one question on that then. So let's say that I am really low HP, but my enemy is full HP and they're still in lane, and I can't really, push the lane. Otherwise, I'm gonna die if I do so.
Then you just recall.
Just recall.
Yeah, you just cut your losses.
Yeah,
that's fine. Like, yeah, sometimes you fuck up and you have to take bad resets. That happens. Happens in pro games as well. It just like sometimes you just make mistakes, right? Like, natural. Yeah. Let's go to this point. Yeah, I mean, at this point, your intention is push wave roam. So what I would like for you to do is just push wave and then see if we can roam. So this is something else I will give you. Actually, I will wait for you to finish pushing this wave, and then we will go over it. So what do you think you should do after you push this wave? Sucks
after I push this wave, I would be looking at possibly Dragon. Because Jax is going towards it. In top lane, there's nobody in top lane. It's just empty, and he's pushing the wave, so there's nothing to end up going to gank there. And bottom lane, there's nothing either. So I would either just say, like, rotate along with the jungle or push another wave and crash tower.
Okay, so I will give you a very simple list. You're on the right track for most of these things. So I will give you a very like streamlined list of just things that you should consider when you push the wave. First one is, questions you can ask yourself. Do I have to recall? So here, what do you think? Do you have to recall?
Absolutely not.
Good. Okay. Can I roam anywhere? Here, can we roam anywhere? Any lanes we can kill.
Possibly. Well, minions, no, because Chitana's gonna get to bot lane before I would.
Oh yeah. We're not looking at minions. We're just looking like, can I kill any of the lanes? Like that's what I mean by roam. Okay. No. Good. Okay. Next one would be. Well, you can't take jungle camps anymore. That used to be one of them, but you can't anymore because those bitches are like 5-item Malphites at this stage in the game. If you're not a jungler,
killing chickens is worse than the world.
Yeah, dude, you have a mortgage after you've killed them. It's fucking crazy, man.
Higher mana bar is the mortgage.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Okay, no, can't roam anywhere. Can I take a plate? Obviously, this is all like, can I take a plate safely? So here.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay, if you can take a plate, then you do it.
I would say yes, you can take a plate here.
Then we go take a plate. The next question, if you can't take a plate, can I get vision? Here, can you get vision?
Yep, 100%.
Where do you think would be a good ward? I have some general warding spots that I use. I will actually just give them to you here. This one is one. Here.
Yeah.
This one is one. Not inside of the bush, but right here, for example. It's just faster to place, and it spots a lot of jungle paths. And then this one down here. And if you're on the other side, this one is good as well. But that one is not as good if you're blue side.
Okay.
So I will just, if you want bot side vision, place the one here. If you want top side vision, place one of these two. And obviously it's flipped for the other side. If you want bot side vision when you're purple, place one of these two. If you want top side, place this one.
Yep.
And that's that. Those are good wards. Okay. And that's what you consider when you push.
Got it. Okay.
This is also what you consider when you're in side lane, actually. It's every single time you push a wave, you go down this list. Mentally.
Got it. Okay.
Good. Now we will move to mid-game stuff. Actually, maybe roam. Actually, no, you will go down this list every time. Although there was one here. So. Here we go down the list, we come to the conclusion, we can roam bot lane. Good, we look bot lane. This is, by the way, where you have to be uncammed. I will write here, when you get level 7, do stop playing locked cam. This is just hard cutoff. After level 7, you do not touch locked cam again.
Yep,
you just don't. When you roam, look at where you're going. So here. Yes, you're technically looking down, but we don't see any of the enemies. So I don't know how you're approaching this. What I would want you to do is look at the entire screen here and see the enemies. The enemies is what matters. That's what we're really looking at.
Yeah.
Because that will help you inform how you're going to roam. Because there's a world where the fight runs this way, right? Where the enemy team tries to kill your team here. And then this direction is very good. Because the enemy, like the fight is moving over here, and you will cut off the fight here, right? But if the fight is going backwards like this, then this direction is, or this pathing is horrible, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get anywhere. What path would be better then?
Going behind.
Yeah, this one, right?
Yeah.
Because then you can try to cut off the enemy. That's why it's so important that you look. Because here, if you're paying attention, and you're looking at this, and you're considering how should I approach this fight, you would recognize, this fight is moving up. Well, I have to get behind them then. Also, you decide to just stand still for a bit because you placed the ward, I think. Instead of running down like this is bad pathing. If you run behind them, you will kill the Jhin here. 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why that's so important.
So let me ask you this then. So can you go back for like 2 seconds?
Sure.
So right where before, if I was going to make that pathing behind the tower,
yep,
and then Warwick came like how he was, what's really the play there if I'm getting attacked by Warwick there?
I would still run this way and just kill the Jhin.
But what I'm saying is because he's going that exact same pathing. So if you play out the video for a second, like if I keep going down this path, he would just inevitably follow me.
Yeah, but you would be running like this, right? And he would be coming behind you, yeah. But then you evaluate, can I kill Jhin before Warwick gets to me?
Okay.
That is just like there's no. Well, in this instance, I think the answer is yes. I think you can absolutely kill the Jhin before Warwick gets to you. But that is what you would consider. And if the answer is no, then you obviously don't go for it. Then you just leave.
Yeah.
And then you hit the Warwick a little bit, you chunk him out so he can't join this fight down here. That's also what I wanted you to do. If you're not going to kill the Jhin here, when the Warwick shows here, you actually just use all of your spells on him. You don't have to ult, right? But you would use Charm, Everfrost, W, Q. Why? Because you want to drop his HP. You're not going to be useful in this fight anyway. The way you're pathing, right? Like, you're not going to be here. So you want to make sure that Warwick is not going to be useful either. So you would actually just throw fucking everything at him here.
Yeah, and I might have even been able to kill him because of 2-level advantage.
If he times his E properly, you can't. But if he's not looking at his screen, he dies. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. But it's all like small things you try to consider to influence whether you think a play can work or not. Like, I can't give you the formula to does this work. Like, I can give you factors you consider, which is like, what is the HP of the enemy? Like, how can I get there in time? Like, how can I approach? All of these factors are stuff you would consider, right? But there's no, like, easy way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's go to actual mid-game stuff now. Oh, you just randomly have 6 kills here. Oh yeah, this was the play here. Yeah, this is where playing locked camera, completely illegal. Absolutely illegal at this stage.
Yeah, because I would have known.
Criminal, as they say. Yeah.
Criminal.
Yeah, it's a federal crime. Yeah, push mid lane here. It's good. Just reset. Yeah, move into Horizon Focus. Get boots. Sweeper here because we're gonna start playing a lot more aggressively. So here, whenever you leave base, look at the map. Where do I need to go? So, here, where do we need to go? Where can we find resources?
Bot lane.
Yeah, so we would run bot lane. Now, there are other things to consider. If there's a fight that's about to happen up here, you probably run up here, right? But the baseline is you run to where you can get resources. So Jax is top lane, so you can't go top. Annie and Tristana are gonna be mid lane, because you can see Tristana is pathing mid. Like on the map, so you can see that. She's running mid. So bot lane is the obvious answer. So, you run bot lane here. Now, there's an argument to be made that running up here is correct. Why? Like,
Rift.
what would... Yeah, that would be the argument. It would be that there's gonna be a fight at Rift. And I would... If you think that's the case, then running up is good. But this is just like... I don't care if you make the correct decisions. I care about you considering the correct factors, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Like, the outcome is completely irrelevant to me. Like, having the correct thought process is what I care about. Because that's what's gonna matter in 1,000 games.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what's gonna give you, like, an extra 100 wins instead of an extra win. Like, that's what's gonna matter. So yeah, if you think Rift Herald is gonna be the play here, and you think we're gonna fight there, yes, good, run up there then. If you don't think there's gonna be a fight there, you run bot lane. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So here you run bot lane. We push the wave. The intention, whenever you're side, you push the wave all the way up, and then you move into the enemy jungle, and then you try to find a play on mid lane. Or you try to sit in the enemy jungle and wait. You have 2 options. Push, sit here, wait for someone to catch the wave, try to one-shot them, or run behind the enemy team mid lane. Depends if you think, like, what you think will have more likelihood of success.
Yep.
Yeah, here I would probably not use my ult on the Nautilus, but because he was just walking in and dying anyway. But it's fine. Yeah, keep pushing here. Why do we keep pushing? Because we want to pressure this side lane, right?
Yep.
We want to force someone to come down here to catch this wave. If they don't come down here, they're just dropping a wave. Right? Like, you will just have a wave advantage, and they will lose HP in the tower. So here, what you should do is look mid. Look over. Move your camera over and see what's happening. If Jhin is standing here, your approach would be, okay, I can come here and ult over the wall. Obviously, you don't have ult, so this play would never work in this instance. But like I said, what I care about is not this specific instance. It's like all the generalized instances, right? So here, look mid, and then decide if you can move over. It's the same when you're top lane. You push out, and you look mid, and you decide, can I move over? And if the answer is yes, you run like this, and you get behind them, and you fight. You force that fight. You ult in, charm, one-shot the Jhin, and then you start that fight. I cannot explain to you how many times this works in Even Challenger.
Yeah.
And if towers are not gone, and still here, you would still run over like this and see if you can jump over the wall and find a one-shot. If you're on the other side, a play that I really like is running up behind this Wraith wall and sitting here, and then looking to ult over the wall here, because no one ever expects it, for some reason. But it's like, the amount of, like, even pro players I have caught with that, it's stupid. But yes. So you would just try to do this more often, basically.
It makes so much sense. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I will write this down. Push the wave and then look mid lane and see if you can make a play. Actually, is there a better way to phrase this that would be more memorable for you?
No, I think that we're just like you're saying it right now is easily understandable.
Okay, I will write it like this then. Just because I don't think this fully describes the concept, but if this helps you remember it, then sure.
Yeah, it's just like push out, see what's happening on the map. If there's something that you can do, continue to try and push that. If not, then continue to stay in lane and just push out the wave.
Yes.
There's nothing you can do.
And you do it every single time. And eventually a play is going to happen. Eventually you're going to find something.
Yep.
Right. I think these are all the things. this really answers this question, I think, how to play mid-game, carry, and snowball.
Yeah.
In terms of matchups, I don't really have any help for you, I'm sorry, except for look it up and see what the high elo players do if
Yeah.
you're struggling with a certain matchup. I don't think there's an Ahri spreadsheet anywhere, sadly.
Yeah.
I know there is a
I've-
Katarina one, but that's not very helpful.
Yeah. I've gone ahead and made some of my own, and I'm working on my RE1 now.
Yeah.
But it's true. There's nothing that's really like online because I've searched every Reddit forum, every yada yada.
Yeah, Ahri mains don't have it.
No,
On Reddit?
RE may not have a spreadsheet, unfortunately, on Reddit.
Okay, maybe I should make one. That could be helpful. It would take a lot of time, but I might try.
If you do, I will love you forever.
I might look to do one, but I mean, I will write. Like, I could write one that's super generalized. It might take a few hours, but I mean, and it's not gonna be super in depth. But I mean,
Yeah,
it's better than nothing, maybe.
anything helps. I'll even like pay for that.
No,
specifically.
it's fine. Don't worry. I will do it of my own time whenever I'm bored, if I'm not doing anything, or whenever I have to wait for something. All right. Any final questions or anything that needs to be rephrased here to make it easier for you to remember?
I wouldn't say anything needs to be rephrased.
Anything you
Really?
feel we need to add?
The only last question I have before our next session is going to be, I know it's a lane question, which is not really my biggest problem, but in lane, when should I know when to not push and when should I let the enemy push? Because I know it's once again kind of a matchup question, but is there a generalized rule of I should be trying to push this because I have more wave clear than
Yes,
enemy
there's
or-
a generalized rule. If the enemy likes to take long trades, you don't push. If the if the enemy doesn't like long trades, you can push. But the problem is, like, the entire thing is, if you're against a Katarina, if you're against a Silas, if you're against a Yone, if you're against anything like this, and you get to a point where the wave is stuck here, if you try to walk up, you will die.
Yeah.
So you try to avoid that at all costs.
Okay.
So the main intention in those lanes, or the main goal, is don't get your wave stuck, and do everything with the wave to make sure it does not get stuck.
Got it.
Otherwise, push and then roam. If you can't roam, then obviously you don't have to push every wave, right? Like, if you don't have your ult up, you can stack waves and deny minions and play more lane oriented. What I always say when I play Ahri is, if I have my ult up, I'm pushing every single fucking wave and looking for a roam. If I don't have ult up, I go back to playing very lane oriented. I'm like, okay, I want to squeeze every single CS advantage I can get. So I will happily freeze if I don't have my ult. If I have my ult, I'm not freezing ever.
Yeah.
Well, unless it's in pro play and you're trying to set up ganks, but this is bronze. It's probably the furthest thing we can get from pro play.
Yep, I'm 100% with you. Don't worry.
Yeah, I can write that down, sure, as well. Well, actually, it's influenced by how you want to trade in lane. If you want quick trades, and if the enemy wants long trades, make sure you don't get the wave stuck. But yes, outside of that, I don't think there's anything you really need to think about in terms of the wave.
Okay. I mean, this has been so helpful on so many different points, so I really do appreciate the help. I'm 100% going to set up something with you either next weekend or the weekend afterwards.
All right.
Weekdays are normally really bad for me because I work a lot. So, okay. What was your name again? Do you go by Jory, or do you have like a regular name you go by?
I prefer going by Espen if I'm talking to people, but my online tag is Shori.
So, Espen?
Yeah, Espen.
Espen.
Yeah.
Well, Espen, this has been probably the best hour of my entire life.
I appreciate it, man.